Hi guys, and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and I'm so excited to share this video with you today. It is all about living intentionally, which is something that I'm really passionate about and feel like in some ways always been practicing, but especially been really honing those skills and thinking about how to live intentionally at moments where maybe I previously hadn't. So today's video is going to get into some basic tips to help you live your life with intention. During the month of May, I'm posting a new minimalism related video every single day, and I've been having so much fun with the series. If you're enjoying it, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Maybe tell me what your favorite video has been thus far, or if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome too. So first, getting into it, what is intentional living? So the obvious thing, living with intention, but it's a lot more complicated than just a simple dictionary definition. I know to me, when I think about living intentionally, I'm trying to create a life with meaning, a life that aligns with my values and my passions, a life that is the life that I want to be living. I'm choosing to live my life this way, and these choices can all, I think, really contribute to increased happiness, lower stress, and overall just a great sense of purpose, which unfortunately I think can be tough for people to find. I think those are things that characterize a meaningful life and a life of intention for me. Now, as far as how to live an intentional life, I think there's kind of 5 main steps that we can think about that are tips wherever you're at if you feel like you're already living intentionally or if you want to start living more intentionally. And these 5 steps are pretty simple to do early on when you're trying to maybe shift the way you think and the way you act. These things might take a little bit of focus to try to remember and put into practice, but I think it can be a skill you can practice and build upon over time. It's not something you're either born with or you're not, at least in my opinion. So the first thing and the first way to have an intentional life is to really think about every single encounter, event, any choice you're making in your life, and really think about it. Now, the first couple days you're doing this might seem a little intense or redundant because every little choice you make, you don't realize it, but you make hundreds of choices a day. You encounter so many different situations every day, and we might go into autopilot and just do things automatically, but we might not actually think about them. So it could be related to your health and maybe food, for instance. Intentional living, I would say from a food perspective, you're really careful in choosing what you are eating, and you're listening to your body. You're trying to listen and figure out what is best for it when you're doing that. So that doesn't mean like, eat perfectly healthy and never eat junk food again. But sometimes when we're eating, I think it's easy for us to start eating things because we're bored, because we're tired, because it just seems fun. And when you start thinking more about like, what does your body actually want? I know when I started doing this, I found that a lot of the times I was eating during the day, I wasn't actually hungry. It was because of one of those other factors. Eating can be really fun, and I was confusing that with what my body actually needed. Then when I started listening more to my body, I ended up feeling better. I didn't have some of those feelings where you'd feel like really bloated after you ate too much, some of those kind of things. So that was really an awesome specific way I kind of focus on that. But even in your daily interactions, if you're greeting someone or talking to someone, are you really in the moment there talking with them? Or is it just kind of like a routine part of your day? How are you? Good, fine. And then you move on. Like, really engage with that other person and think about it, be in that moment. And then I think you'll start to see some changes, and other people might pick up on these changes as well. Another way to live intentionally, I think, is to start viewing yourself almost as a sponge. And what I mean by that, the idea that you can soak up what's in your surroundings and being really mindful of what you see in your surroundings. So for this, really looking around you, engaging the 5 senses. It almost is like viewing the world with somewhat of a childlike wonder. I kind of feel like I still have some of this in the sense of if I'm on an airplane, I've got my face pressed up to the window, just like looking at everything, even though I've seen some of it before. Just really viewing the world with optimism and fresh eyes and trying to soak in the details there and really get the most of it. I think it's like a curiosity thing too, and that can be a great way to help live intentionally. My third tip is to reflect upon your values and priorities. think about what values are most important to you and see how your lifestyle at the moment compares to those values. If you are trying to live an intentional life, hopefully your values line up to the life you're living. If these aren't in alignment, then you have to try to evaluate, okay, where am I getting off this path? And when you prioritize your values and what really matters to you, it's going to be easier. So if it's a value of yours to really focus on your health, and there are certain unhealthy behaviors that are really steering you in the opposite direction, maybe it's time to think about those behaviors and see where you can shift your course or ways that you can be better about that. Maybe sleep is the issue. Maybe you are trying to get more sleep. That's in your goal at least, but then you're letting certain things like Netflix take over and not allow you to accomplish that goal. Set limits for yourself, make some new decisions if that's needed to try to help move you towards that direction. It doesn't have to be a thing of perfection. You can be making sure that you're doing gradual changes over time, but I think that could be really helpful to you. Fourth, make decisions based upon your ethics. So based upon values that you have. When you are living like with integrity and making choices that match up with what you think and believe, then overall you feel happier about your choices. So for me, I eat a vegan diet. I feel really happy about those choices because I know I'm not contributing as much to environmental degradation, suffering of animals, etc. And so that's really exciting to me. That's where my values and ethics and beliefs do line up with my lifestyle. That's really exciting and powerful. And so doing those kind of things, making sure that you're making decisions based upon what you believe can really help you. Obviously, there can be roadblocks to certain decisions, but it doesn't even have to be a perfection thing. Focus on how you can overcome some of those hurdles and live the life that you truly want and want to be living, something that you're proud of doing. And then finally, focus on your senses. It's kind of the idea about soaking in your environment, but really consciously see, consciously hear what's going on, listen to others. Try to see the beauty in the environment that you're in. Taste. When you're eating, don't just mindlessly eat the food, really taste what you're eating and enjoy those flavors. Smell, if something's smelling good, really breathe it in. Even just something that I like to do, it's kind of silly, but if I'm like in nature or walking outside, even if it's just like walking into the car, I like to do a couple deep breaths and really breathe it in. And that's a way to just start practicing intentional living. Touch, whatever works for you, but the idea of really connecting with your five senses and engaging them on a regular basis. So these are a couple quick ways that you can start thinking about intentional living. I suppose some of these are quicker than others. Maybe steps like reflecting on your values and priorities, maybe that's something more complicated and something you have to really do a lot of deep thinking about. When you start matching these priorities up though with your daily life, I think it will be a really beautiful thing to see how maybe your life changes. These are some of the tough questions and skills we don't necessarily talk about in society or really push much in society, but I think they're major in terms of how they make us feel. I think they can help propel us towards the life we want to live. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you'd like more videos like this one, please feel free to share it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you tomorrow for our next Minimal May video. Bye!